Hi, and welcome to this week's edition of ETV News. I'm Mackenzie Fain.
And I'm Yvonne Pineda.
Police said up to 500 Eversource customers in Willimantic had their gas service shut off yesterday around 2 or 3 p.m. after a contractor let air into a gas line while working on pipes. Eversource said a second-party contractor inadvertently put air into a gas line. It's the same line that delivers gas into homes. Eastern students living in apartments off campus began complaining via social media, along with other Willimantic residents who began calling local police. The service was shut off to homes in the area of Boston Post Road, Milk Street, Union Street, and Church Street. Officials said close to 50 technicians were going door to door to shut off meters to fix the problem and recharge the gas lines. Then crews will return to the houses to relight and reset pilot lights. Eversource officials said they don't know how long it will take to fix the problem, but they said crews will be working around the clock. Quote, if a resident has a concern that someone is knocking on their door claiming to be Eversource and they are not, we want them to be on the air of caution and call the city police headquarters, and we will verify in fact that they are Eversource. It is unclear why air was pumped into the gas lines at this point.
As reported by Fox 61 News, according to a study, there are 14 systems statewide which currently have higher than safe levels of lead and/or copper contaminating the water supply. These areas include restaurants, daycares, schools, and a list of other places which can be found on fox61.com. The Department of Health is already taking action, and the statement from the chief of DPH's drinking water section states, quote, we have verified that each of the systems currently out of compliance with the lead action level has notified residents of exceedance and the steps needed to avoid the contaminated water until the systems have remediated the issue, and further testing confirms lead levels have decreased below the federal standard, end quote.
Hundreds of Connecticut state workers are receiving layoff notices due to state's $992 million budget deficit. Just on Monday, a total of 165 notices went out, including 106 employees of the State Department of Children and Families and 59 employees of the State Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services. The totaling number of layoffs this week have come in around over 300 notices. Even more layoffs this week will be received to employees of the judicial branch, which will go into effect June 24th. Chief Justice Chase Rogers said the layoffs will, quote, occur in a manner consistent of seniority definition in which are 4 collective bargaining agreements and will occur with our existing practice and procedures, end quote.
The Yukon community is mourning the loss of a student who died following battle with a heroin addiction. 22-year-old Gregory Cola was a civil engineering student whose friends and family say he fought for a year of off and on battle with heroin. Cola's family said that while the disease took his life too early, he never stopped being the sweet, shy, lovable son, brother, grandson, nephew, and friend. Health experts said the heroin problem is everywhere, and Yukon has been making an ongoing effort to provide counseling help as well as education for students and faculty on the issue. Dr. James O'Day of the Natchog Hospital in Mansfield Center said, quote, we need to use this as an opportunity to educate the public about the importance of this issue and helping people recognizing that care and treatment is available and recovery happens every day as well, end quote.
Last week, the Center of Career and Internship Development put on a Spring 2016 Career Internship Fair. ETV reporter Andrew Fitzgerald was there for the story.
Hi Eastern, I'm Andrew Fitzgerald here in the Geisel Gymnasium for the Career and Internship Fair. Let's go check it out. The Center for Career and Internship Development sets up a career and internship fair every semester in order to help students make valuable connections with various employers around the state. The goal of the career fair is to get students to talk with these employers about positions as interns or job positions post-graduation. Interested students were recommended to bring multiple copies of their resumes to hand out, display professional mannerisms, and dress to impress.
The Internship and Career Development Office puts on the fair every year because it's important for students to get experiential learning opportunities. We want to make sure our students are competitive when they graduate Eastern. And we believe one of the best ways to become competitive is by doing early experiences and utilizing internships for those opportunities.
Almost 100 employers were in attendance to share that there were opportunities for all students. Only a few of them were Verizon Wireless, Target, Six Flags, Mohegan Sun, and the ECSU Sports Broadcasting Program. Cliff Merritt also explained how this event is beneficial to Eastern students and why they do it each semester.
It really helps them to market themselves, and obviously, them graduating and being great Eastern students, it really gets, when they go out into the world of work, it really shows that this is what Eastern has to provide.
Well, there are a ton of employers, lots of students, and overall great success at the Career and Internship Fair. I'm Andrew Fitzgerald from the Geisel Gymnasium.
Thank you, Andrew. What a great turnout.
Presidential candidate Donald Trump will be in Hartford on Friday night, his campaign confirmed. Trump is expected to be at the Connecticut Convention Center at 7 p.m. on Friday, April 15th. Annika Deming, the communications manager at the venue, said, "The event will be standing room only, and the hall can accommodate about 8,000 people. Tickets will be required and can be found on his campaign website."
Beginning this August, students at public universities in Texas will be able to carry concealed weapons on campus, thanks to a new bill passed by the Texas Senate, raising concerns about campus safety and specifically the prevalence of sexual assault on campus. The people behind the law, including Texas Governor Greg Abbott, argue that campus carry will make students safer by minimizing the threat of mass shootings on campus, but the majority of academics throughout the state disagree, fearing that the presence of guns will inhibit scholarship at their schools. Additionally, these debates often miss one huge consequence of gun carry. Violence against women's studies on the relationship between domestic violence and guns show that when guns are introduced into a domestic violence situation, the risk that a woman will end up dead is 3 times greater than otherwise. Pro-gun lobbyists supporting the bill claim that the new law will actually prevent sexual assault by allowing women to arm themselves. However, studies have shown across the board that the presence of guns on campus does not deter sexual assault, and the fact that the years 2013 to 2014, campuses in Colorado and Utah that were prompted to introduce campus carry by state legislation have shown a marked increase in reports of sexual assault. The bill passed despite much of protests from students, parents, and university staff members.
We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with Erin Fitzsimons and her editorial on NFL player Will Smith.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent. We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness. I am a witness. I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
everyone, I'm Erin Fitzsimons for this week's editorial. I'm sure most of us have heard the tragic incident that occurred last weekend to NFL player Will Smith. Smith played as a defensive end for the New Orleans Saints, where his life was cut short on Saturday, April 9th, from a possible road rage incident, according to the Washington Post. The incident is still under investigation, but according to CNN.com, Smith was behind the wheel of a Mercedes SUV when an orange Hummer, which was driven by Cardell Hayes, cut Smith off. Moments later, Smith's vehicle tapped the back end of Hayes' vehicle. Smith failed to pull over once the accident occurred, in which events led Hayes to follow Smith, in which ended up the loss of Smith's life during those moments in time. Now, many of us might think that this is just another story in the news, and it probably won't be talked about ever again. But to myself, I believe that this incident is much more than that. Road rage is becoming a serious issue, and that needs to be addressed in this country. Just last October, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, 4-year-old Lily Garcia was also killed due to a road rage incident. What I have discovered in learning about road rage is that it is also known as intermittent explosive disorder. Yes, road rage is considered to be a mental disorder among drivers. It is much more common than we think, as it affects up to 16 million Americans. Now, I consider myself an experienced driver, and I definitely know what it's like to get a little angry and upset when other drivers on the road don't know what they're doing, but I could never imagine getting so upset to the point where I feel as though I need to take someone else's life. Road rage is a fine example of one of the many serious mental health issues in this country that I feel, though, aren't taken seriously. If awareness isn't addressed, this will more than likely lead to more countless acts on the road, and which will result to more innocent lives being lost. Often at times we never think about what our actions on the road can lead to, which is why every driver should take road rage as a serious issue. Thanks for tuning in. That's it for this week's editorial. I'm Erin Fitzsimons for ETV News.
And we'll be right back after these short messages.
Coming up next on ETV News, we ask Eastern students their opinions on e-cigarettes. And we take a look at Eastern's upcoming power plays. All this and more when ETV News returns.
The earthquakes you see in movies are one thing, but real life is a completely different animal. Just because you can't predict an earthquake doesn't mean that you can't prepare for one. In the event of a real earthquake, you should drop, cover, and hold on. Visit ready.gov/earthquake and practice what to do to keep you and your family safe in the event of a real earthquake. And you'll be seen as a hero by your family and your loved ones.
Visit ready.gov/earthquake today.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
I'm excited to apply the skills I have learned as a theater major over the course of my college career. People who come to see Out of Our Father's House will be inspired by this story, but will also get a glimpse of my creative mind.
I am most excited to see how the audience responds to what we have come up with over these past few months. I really enjoyed working with my actors and staging this play to show the true message of the play.
Directing a main stage show my senior year was my goal for college. Love of One's Neighbor is an incredibly relevant show which warns against believing everything you hear.
The month of April is National Distracted Driving Awareness Month. This month, Willimantic Police are targeting the illegal use of cell phones while driving. Captain Stanley Parizo Jr. of the Willimantic Police said in a press release, quote, "These types of enforcement campaigns are critical to keeping motorists safe. The numbers from the data tell the stark truth. Seatbelt compliance within the city was nearly 95% when recorded last summer. Drunk driving arrests went from 361 in 2004 to just over 120 arrests last year. These enforcement campaigns work, and lives are being saved through not only arrests and tickets, but through educating the public surrounding the dangers," end quote. Drivers who are found using cell phones while driving could be fined up to $150 for first-time offenders and $300 for a second offense. So be safe and put your cell phones away while driving.
The Connecticut Eastern Railroad Museum needs your help. The museum needs help for the opening day on April 16th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Volunteers will be helping with raking and general groundwork. Rakes and work gloves will be provided, as well as transportation to the museum and back to campus. If you're interested in volunteering, you can register at the CCE through your e-web account under the Student Services. If anyone has needs more information about the event, you can contact Kim Silcox.
ETV reporter Erin Fitzsimons took to the Student Center to ask Eastern students their opinions on e-cigarettes and vaping. Let's check it out.
Hey everyone, I'm Erin Fitzsimons here in the Student Center, where I'm curious to find out people's thoughts and opinions on the latest trend among young people, electronic cigarettes. Let's see what everyone has to say.
I mean, when it comes to vaping, I have no issues with it, but I know there's still some type of like nicotine in it, even though it's a small amount, so it's still bad for you overall. When people are like, well, vaping's not as bad as cigarettes, but it's really not that big of an issue to me.
Okay. Would you ever try it?
I mean, yeah, I would try it, but at the same time, I wouldn't be ever consistent with that.
I've sold them at my job, and they're very expensive.
I had a friend that tried them to quit cigarettes when she wasn't actually a cigarette smoker. So I think they're kind of just more of like a distraction than anything.
Vape is life.
Okay.
And then it wasn't.
Okay, so you were young when you did it?
No, this was like 3 or 4 months ago.
Well, I used to use the e-cigarettes, the one that are like hookahs. And I used to because I didn't want to smoke like the real hookah one. So that kind of like kept me like busy and, like relaxed. But then I quit because it was just like, it wasn't doing anything good. And it was just expensive, buying it all the time. So I quit. I stick with coffee now.
There you go.
Just don't, okay? Don't.
Well, that's all I have here today. Coming to you from the Student Center, reporting for ETV News, I'm Erin Fitzsimons.
Thanks, Erin. It's interesting to hear everyone's opinion on this topic.
The Connecticut Food Bank's mobile food pantry takes place the First Congregational Church, 199 Valley Street in Willimantic. The mobile food pantry program is an outreach program designed to bring food directly to neighborhoods where low-income residents lack access to food. Eastern volunteers will assist with the food distribution on the 4th Tuesday of each month. The group will depart from CCE House at 12:30 p.m. The project is from 12:45 p.m. to 2:45 p.m. The site is located within walking distance from the campus. You may register on Eastern's community engagement page if you are interested.
As an annual event hosted by Habitat for Humanity, our campus chapter will be hosting Jail and Bail on Wednesday, April 20th. The way the event works is members of Habitat for Humanity will go around with officers from various institutions across the state, including ECSU, to arrest students, staff, and faculty members who had fake warrants filled out for their arrest. Those persons will then be brought to Webb Lawn, where there will be a makeshift jail cell. Jail time will be set for each individual person by whoever is the honorary judge at the time. Once in jail, jailers will raise money for their bail by contacting friends and family members to pay with either cash, debit credit card, or express cash. Once the bail is raised, the person will be allowed to leave jail. This event will take place from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
The Student Directors Showcase Power Plays will take place April 14th through the 18th from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. It will feature 4 international plays directed by the most advanced student directors in the theater program. The event is free for all Eastern students and will take place in the Studio Theater located in the Fine Arts Instructional Center. For reservations, you can call the box office at 860-465-5123 or email theaterboxoffice@easternct.edu. Hope to see you all there.
Town Pride Town-wide is an event which occurs every spring. On April 30th, the local community will come together for a day full of spirit, teamwork, and fun. Eastern clubs, resident halls, and groups of friends will work side by side with local volunteers to clean up nearly 20 sites in the Windham community. Projects include mulching, planting trees, sidewalk sweeping, and more. Following the event is a celebratory picnic which will be held at Memorial Park. If you're interested, you can sign up on Eastern's webpage.
On Wednesday, April 20th, from 3 to 4 p.m. in the Student Center Theater, Eastern welcomes the first inmate to write a newspaper column from behind bars. Chandra Bose Eco, the author of Up the River Anthology, critiques the disturbing fragments of our criminal justice system and examines the problem with women's incarceration and her life as a prison inmate. This unique and interesting event is sponsored by the Women's Center. Don't miss out.
The final Eastern's Writers Guild Coffee House of the semester is April 20th in the Student Center Cafe. It will take place from 7:30 to 10 p.m. Come out and share your poetry, music, and other creative works, or just listen and enjoy free coffee and food.
We're going to take another quick break. We'll be right back with Zach Burnett and this week's sports update.
On ETV News, we check up on Eastern's spring sports. Also, we take a look into Eastern's rugby club. All this and more when ETV News continues.
Hey, look, it's those guys. Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Cheers. Take time to be a dad today.
It takes less than 1 minute to find out if you may have prediabetes. You can do it here. But you probably won't. You're busy. Kids, work, show coming back in 48 seconds. So let's do this now. Hold up one finger if you're a man, women, 0. 3 more fingers if you're over 60, 2 over 50, 1 over 40. If you're not sure, keep in mind you're sitting on a couch right now, so 1 more finger if you're not very active. 1 finger if yes, 0 if no. 1 yes, 0 no. Next, find the body type that looks most like you and hold up that many fingers while I look around awkwardly. And that's it. If you're holding up 5 fingers or more, you probably have prediabetes. Sorry to be so blunt, but hey, you're busy. Just go to the site.
Welcome back. As always, I'm Zach Burnett with this week's sports update. Well, the snow actually has finally diminished, I think. And for the baseball team, they've been fortunate enough to go 5-1 over the past 6 games. However, their 5-game winning streak was snapped yesterday, coming from the hands of number 7 in the region, the University of Suffolk. The Rams scored 5 runs in the first 2 innings and then tacked on 7 more in the final 3 innings to win comfortably 15-3. Center fielder Alex Zachary hit a 2-run shot, this being only one of the very few positive things for Eastern. Currently, they are coming back from an away game at Amherst College. Their next game is a doubleheader this Saturday at Plymouth State. They return back home Tuesday, the 19th, where they play host to Western Connecticut. Last week, the softball team was 3-11 on the season after last night's key win against Coast Guard. They now go to 9-13 on the season. In the first game, Gina Giorgetti and Emily Komornik went a combined 7 for 9 at the plate with 6 ribbies. Alyssa Hancock and Summer Cipriani both hit home runs in this one for a 13-7 victory. In the second game, they defeated Coast Guard 11-1 behind Samantha Valentine's 1-hitter. The game ended at 5 innings. It hasn't been the season Coach Pepin was looking for, but with 10 conference games and 9 non-conference games left on the season, there is no reason as to why they can't finish strong. Their next doubleheader comes this Saturday at 3 and 5 p.m. where they play host to Keene State. Well, what a turnaround season it's been for the women's lacrosse team. The Warriors are currently 7-4 on the season, 4 more wins than last season. Get ready to stop, drop, and roll. The women's team is hot right now, carrying a 5-game winning streak. They won their last game against Framingham State 17-3 behind Paige Schneider's career 6 goals. I was fortunate to be on the call for her career day. 6 different players scored in this one for Eastern, while goaltender Taylor Emerson saved 7 of 10 shots. Their next game comes this Saturday at UMass Dartmouth at 1 p.m. This is their second conference matchup. Currently, they are 1-0 in conference games. And for the men's side, they are currently gearing up for their 3rd straight Saturday game versus UMass Dartmouth. In their last game, they came out victorious with a 14-9 battle against Salem State. Eastern outscored the Vikings in all 4 quarters except for 1. Tim Riley led the way with 4 goals in this one, while 5 other players helped pitch in goals of their own. 4 out of 5 of them scored at least 2 goals. This Saturday's game at 1 p.m. The team will acknowledge their seniors. However, the last home game comes Tuesday, April 26th, when UMass Boston comes to town. And currently, the men's rugby team is gearing up for their appearance in nationals taking place in Colorado this year. ETV sports reporter Harrison Thied caught up with the team to see how they are doing with just about a little under 2 weeks to go.
Harrison Thied here for ETV News at the home pitch of the Eastern Connecticut State rugby team. We're here to catch up with them as they prepare for their national final in Colorado.
The Eastern Connecticut rugby team just set program history with a record of 10-0 and a playoff win against SUNY Plattsburgh in the Northeast NSCRO Championship. Since their November bid, the team has been working hard in preparation for their big game. We caught up with senior co-captain Sean Manning with his thoughts.
It means a lot to reach the final finally for the rugby team because we've made it so far. Each year we're progressing further and further in the tournament. A couple years ago we didn't even win a playoff game yet, and then the year after that we won 1 playoff game. Year after that we won a couple, and now we're here where we're on the national stage, and it's pretty exciting to be a part of it. To take home the national championship in Colorado would mean a lot to me because Ray's, the coaches, and Joe have put a lot towards this team, and giving them a national championship on my last game would mean a lot to me, to give back to them a championship because they've given me everything.
As a club team, the Eastern Rugby program must raise their own funding for this trip. Following their slogan, All Equals One, the team has worked together as a family in order to make this dream a reality. We caught up with first-year player Tim Taylor on his perspective.
My first year, it means everything. I don't work, I go to school full-time, and all my times I was spent in the classroom or playing rugby or getting ready for internships and stuff like that. But what this does for me is it helps me maintain my focus in school, maintain the high grades, accomplish better things with my grades, and to push myself. And it's the biggest brotherhood you'll ever have. And these guys are people I'll know the rest of my life. And, they'll probably be burying me someday, just like I'll be burying them. And it's one of those bonds that you never can get anywhere else.
Down here on the turf field with the Eastern Connecticut rugby team, as Coach Ray runs the team through stretches, and we're ready to see what kind of shape these guys are in. I might just have to join in.
Coach Ray Armini has kept these athletes not only in top shape physically, but involved in the community as well. He's a team motivator and is always pushing for the best from the student athletes. We caught up with the coach to get his thoughts on this historical season.
I think what makes me most proud, to have a season that was 10-0 in New England rugby, which is unheard of, is something to be very, very proud of. But I think what makes me most proud is the fact that when I will talk to the alums, that the alum will come out to the game, they'll say, "We finally did it. Not you guys, not Eastern Rugby, not those guys on the field, but we." And it's that presence of we that, and I'll go back to this again, that all equals one, where our alumni still view this as their team.
Friends and family will follow along on the journey as the Eastern Connecticut State rugby team looks to take home a national championship. The national championship games are April 30th and May 1st. Follow along on this live stream and make sure to congratulate any rugby players you may see on campus. For ETV News, I'm Harrison Thied.
Well, that's it for This Week in Sports. I'm Zach Burnett. Until next week.
And that's it for this week's show. If you want to see more episodes, visit the ETV YouTube channel.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned in to catch this week's Game of the Week, where Eastern's softball team takes on UMass Boston. Good night, Eastern, and most of all, stay amazing.